Hello AOS fans, Robin here, back once more today with a deck review for you. Yes, here I am again, another deck review and another preparation for my Grand Clash games coming up. This week I'm going to be playing Simon, one of our patrons who lives just up the road from us. He is going to join us in the garage. In fact, he already has joined us in the garage by the time we listen to this because he has played against Pete. But I'm the second game up and I will be playing the Godsworn Hunt, and this is my deck. So I think it's a fairly standard set of objectives. I've gone for advancing strike, change of tactics, cover ground, or great score immediately cards. Reasonably easy to score with the possible exception of advancing strike depending on your opponent. Escalation, Godsworn Hunt are always looking to put those upgrades on, so escalation is a no-brainer for most decks anyway, and it's definitely a no-brainer for these guys. Pure carnage to kind of offset the fragile nature of the Godsworn Hunt. It's not great. If you lose all 6 of your Godsworn Hunt, you only get 3 back in glory for them, but in a good game when you've killed a few and they haven't killed quite so many of your guys, then that 3 glory could be useful at the end. I put this in instead of Superior Tactician to try and score some end of game glory. I think most games with these guys there's going to be 7 or more fighters out of action. I wanted to cut out Superior Tactician just to free up a restricted slot. A Worthy Deed. I haven't played this card yet, but I thought I'd try it out. Got to take an enemy fighter of 4 or more wounds and out of action. Another score immediately. Another score immediately is Calculated Risk. And then Keep Chopping. Now, these guys I like to attack with, so hence Keep Chopping is in there. Martyred, because they do go down easy. Opening Gambit, because if you do get martyred or change of tactics or any of those, then you can score that. Peerless Fighter. Now, this is my test card, really. The whole deck is kind of testing this out. Can I score Peerless Fighter? I suspect I'll probably find I can't, or that it's not reliable enough. So, but that's the part of the objects of these games with Simon is to see how many attacks I can get off and whether I can score Peerless Fighter. And even better if I actually have Peerless Fighter in my hand at the chance on time I could have scored it. And then finally, What Armor, yet another score immediately card. Gambits then, they're all pretty violent, really. Distraction isn't, unless you're moving on to Lethal Hex, and it is. Fueled by Fury for re-rolling dice towards getting towards Peerless Fighter. Hidden Path for a bit of extra mobility. Last Chance to keep somebody alive. Lethal Strike. I'm going to be trying to roll as many dice as possible, so hopefully I can get a crit and double my damage. I can really see this could be useful attack with Grundon or something to really do some heavy damage, possibly to help me score a Worthy Deed. Ready for action for obvious reasons. Spectral Wings for cover ground. Spoils of Battle because it's essential for the Godsworn Hunt. Trap. Now I think I possibly freed up Superior Tactician, so I could put Trap into my deck because I'll be throwing lots of dice. There's lots of lethal hexes around. I only need to sort of get a draw and then push into a lethal hex and trap, and that's 2 damage, which is enough to take out some people. So that's why that's in there. Finally, Haymaker for extra dice. Upgrades, I've got Concealed Weapon, Light Armor, Path to Glory. The Concealed Weapon is a new card for me. I think I saw somebody else put it in their Godsworn deck, and I can see I'm rolling lots of dice then, and I tend to get up close and personal, so Concealed Weapon is a handy card to have. Light Armor for extra dice, Path to Glory for extra dice and wounds if you in certain circumstances. Challenge Seeker again. The Godsworn Hunt have a low wound count, so Challenge Seeker is pretty good for them. Fameway Crystal for cover ground, really. Glory Seeker for those big monsters with 4 or more wounds. Great Strength for obvious reasons, +1 damage for attacks. And then the Nullstone Dagger. Now I am denied. I've had the Nullstone Axe in my deck before because it's quite versatile in that you can throw it once only, but you can throw it for quite a decent attack, which is very handy for Keep Chopping in one game. However, I've gone over this time for the Nullstone Dagger, basically because again I'm trying to roll lots of dice. There's 3 dice, 3 swords here, so that's 3 swords, which is helpful for Peerless Fighter. And if I get a crit, you get a cleave off of it, and obviously maybe if I can do some re-rolls, then there's a good chance I could do some hefty damage with Nullstone Dagger. And you can re-roll against wizards, which I think in the current meta I think will be good. Potion of Rage and Tome of Offerings finally. So there you go, that's my deck. What do you think? Let me know what you'd leave out. What do you think about Peerless Fighter in this deck? I'm not sure, so it really is a kind of test of how that's going to go for me, and I'll have to see in the match. So hopefully I can give Simon a run for his money, but until then, we'll see you soon in the Middle City. Bye!